Welcome everyone, Dr. Seuss here. Today I'm bringing you a new deck profile and a new haircut. This time we are covering a deck that we haven't talked so much in the channel, which is Three Musketeers. First of all, I decided to play this deck because my friends just made me play some purple deck because we have a common joke about purple decks being bad. I don't actually think purple decks are bad. Especially this Three Musketeer decks is pretty strong. In the tournament, I only lost to in the first round of the tournament with well, against the yellow LordKnightmon deck because I just couldn't beat Chaosmon Valdur Arm that was suspend. So our best option cards just kill level 6 or lower, or they kill and suspend Digimons. So I couldn't just delete that Chaosmon, and I just completely submit to that play. Otherwise, I managed to win to Agumon, Bond of Courage, Jesmon Red, and Security Control. Against Security Control, I must say that it was a really close game, especially when we are just reviving over and over the same Digimons. It becomes a hell to deal with for the Security Control player, especially because they need to waste their cards just to delete things that are coming back next turn. These type of cards are always named floaters and floating effects. Floating effects are the perfect counter to the control decks because the removal effects are good if the Digimon that is killed remains killed and remains in the trash. If that Digimon returns, or if it replaces itself or something like that, the opponent is losing cards while we are not losing cards. So that's crazy. And the card economy is a key piece of this deck. That's it. as final comment, I need to thank Utsu for reach a cool second place in the European regionals. This deck was crazy. Utsu was really great deck builder and a great player. This deck list is a tribute to his list, but I just took some changes because I was expecting some security control players in my tournament. Also, I was expecting a lot of the Jesmon Red deck, so I decided to center the complete deck to beat those matchups. Let's begin with the deck profile. The DGX are just 1 copy of the Mimera and 4 copies of Purple Sunamon. Actually, I could have completely taken out the Demimeramon because I am just playing around getting value from the cards rather than just fill up a trash with cards and then getting cheaper Beastarmons. Beastarmon at a cheap cost or maybe for free, it's great, of course, but if we just play around that, we are just spending some time by just filling the graveyard nonsense, and that's a time we cannot lose this format. This format is really aggressive. We have Jesmon, we have Gabumon, we have Agumon, we have a lot of good aggressive decks, and we shouldn't be losing time against them. That's it. That's why we are focusing on getting value from all the cards we have. So Sunamon, if we trash a card with a card effect, we can draw one. So any powerful effect that has a cost of discarding one card becomes free. Let's keep this on mind while evaluating other cards, because an effect that costs a card from the hand is just bad or maybe mediocre, but having Sunamon, having that extra draw, changed completely the story. So let's focus now on the rookies. We have 12. We have 2 copies of Inmon, only 2 copies because as we have been talking about value, and just the undulation effect is not something we really want, but it can be handy. If we mill the correct cards for feeding out our Three Musketeer cards, or maybe for feeding the Beastarmon, it can be good. That's why we are playing at least 2 copies. 2 copies of Gasimon against against a ton of things. It kills the Lilithmon Loop combo, it kills Darkdramon in the Brigade matchup, it kills the Memory Boost cards. Excellent card. Soundbermon, if we have Sunomon and we activate the effect when attacking, trash one option card from the hand and get one memory, we can get an additional draw. So attacking, get one memory is great. So Soundbermon became a really piece for the consistency of the deck. Finally, 4 copies of Inmon. On play, we can trash one card from the hand and then recover any of our fallen Three Musketeer cards or 7 Great Demon Lords. So this card became basically a full playset of Bilstarmon once it comes out. So having 8 copies of Bilstarmon is better than having just 4. That's it. This card became a monster against the security control matchup. Especially in the late game when we have wasted our Bilstarmons, they just come back and we can start against cycling again. Also, if we revive him and make him able to activate the effect again, we can get even more value. Next, we have 2 copies of Magnadramon against the Rookie Rush style decks, against the hybrids that evolve over Tamers. In the Agumon matchup, it is really good because if we don't see anything on the breeding area, we can just chill, play Magnadramon, and that's it. It's a really decent blocker. Then 2 copies of the Beautymon, only 2. This card can add some consistency to the deck, but it is another source of self-milling our cards that can just become a win condition from the opponent. We can get some value of him, of course, but that's not the most common scenario. That's why we are running just 2 copies. It is a good card if we play the Beautymon on the early game, of course, but that's it. We don't want multiple copies of this guy in our hand. Also, Vilemon, good blocker, that's it. We need a blocker that can just survive the most common when attacking effects, and Vilemon makes the deal. Next, 1 copy of Ogremon. Ogremon is great. On play, we can trash 1 card and delete 1 of the opponent's level 4 or lower. Let's remind that if we control a rookie with Sunomon, then we will draw 1 card. So this effect becomes free, and that's it. Strong effect that has a cost, but if the cost is free, this effect is just a really good one. Finally, we have Genkakumon Promote, the finisher of the deck. We can just hard play it and attack. Evolve from a rookie, we have just play and attack. We have just revive him and attack. Amazing card. So you should be completely playing at least 1 or 2 copies of this card, because it can become really, really, really good. Also, it makes an excellent card draw source. We can just play Ogremon for 5 and then evolve into Ginkakumon for 1 and get an extra draw, which is also a really cool thing to have. Now in the level 5s, 2 copies of Gigadramon just to make our black level 6s stronger during the opponent's turn. We'll explain this later because we are playing some tech cards. This effect will become really good. Next, 3 copies of Rebellimon. Rebellimon is great, just great. Rebellimon is the out to the Jesmon matchup because if they attack, we can just have a ready Rebellimon to block and kill the Jesmon. That's it. If we suspect that our opponent is just playing Jesmon next turn, just by moving him from the breeding area to the battle area, or if they have memory to evolve a level 5 into Jesmon and attack, then we have Rebellimon to solve these situations. So, what we need after this, the most common scenario after evolving into Rebellimon is that the opponent is not attacking with Jesmon. He's maybe just evolving in the breeding zone, but later we can just evolve Rebellimon into a level 6 and get some value from that level 6. Such as Gundramon, which is the first Musketeer, we can just evolve and kill something, activate some cards. That's it. Finally, we have Gundramon and Bilstarmon as the only Musketeers we're playing. Gundramon is not really good as a blocker because it costs 11 and it gives no value, no extra value from Gundramon is bad. Bilstarmon is, of course, the the protagonist of the entire deck. Is the best card of the deck. It plays itself basically for free, or for a really cheap cost. It lets us activate a cost 7 option for free. Well, I don't need to say anything more about Bilstamon. The only thing I want to remark is that she can evolve into a level 7 and being purple, and gives us a really wide spectrum of level 7s to choose from. We have Zwart, Millenniumon. We have maybe even more things to do with her than we can even suspect. So, talking about level 7s, we are playing 2 copies of Omnimon Zwart because we need some extra recursion, especially in the late game when we are just playing Bilstarmon for a really low cost, and then we can evolve into Zwart and get some field. So we can just maybe Bilstarmon into Gigwalt, kill everything, and then evolve into Zwart and establish a board. These combos are really good, and also the effect, when attacking effect from Zwart is so useful. It can just kill a Jesmon or kill something just by attacking and returning the Bilstarmon to the hand. So having an additional Bilstarmon to the hand is even better than destroying the opponent Digimon. So that's it. Zwart became the perfect level 7 to play in this deck. Next is Millenniumon. Millenniumon is only out to things we normally can't delete or remove from the field with our options. So we cannot remove from the field our level 7s. The level 7s of the opponent, if they are suspended, they are just there and we can just kill them. So Millenniumon can return in this kind of threats to the bottom of the opponent's deck, which is really cool to have. Also, another thing we just can't beat is a Craniamon. Craniamon has become popular because the black decks are just creating really strong Craniamons to deal with, and we can just get over them. So Millenniumon makes a perfect out to these cats. Otherwise, Millenniumon is also a blocker. If it dies and it had evolution material, it can just revive itself. So it will be really hard to remove. And that's pretty good to have. And finally, our spicy decks are 1 copy of Dandevimon and 2 copies of Craniamon. These 3 cards are completely just meant to the control mirror matches. Let's start with Craniamon, which is the most popular one. We have just been talking about why Millenniumon is good against this card, and this card is really good against the Three Musketeers deck. So in a mirror match, controlling Craniamon can be game defining, especially when there is only 1 out in the entire opponent's deck. So having at least 2 copies makes this card really valid, because okay, you can just kill the first one or just Millenniumon effect over the first one, but you won't be able to fight the second one. That's a fact. And there are no DP reduction effects in that deck. Also, in the security control matchup, Craniamon becomes really hard to remove outside Wyvern's Breath and Eden's Javelin if they are lucky. And that's why Craniamon became so handy. And Dandevimon. Dandevimon is really spicy. I decided to include Dandevimon because the effect is really good in the mirror match, and also against security control. If they attack us and we lose 1 security, they will also lose 1 security. Our securities are completely random, but the opponent's one are mostly controlled, maybe by reinforcing memory boost and cards like that, and having the option of just trashing them without checking the security. That's really valuable. Also, the undulation effect, when they see Dandevimon, they want to kill him as fast as possible. And the undulation effect is really good because it lets us to trash 2 cards on the opponent's hand. That translates into our opponent losing 3 cards. If they kill Dandevimon with an option card, with an option card effect, then that's 3 cards. 1 just by killing him, and 2 because of the undulation effect. And believe me, in a control mirror match, we don't actually draw as many cards as we normally do in other decks. So, if we don't draw cards, and also if we discard 2 of them, then we won't have cards to make a comeback. And this is really important in the late game, because maybe a card that was not relevant in a given situation could be really important in the future. And if we don't have the card, we are just losing that game. That's it. Dandevimon is a great card, and that's it. Let's end up with the option and tamers. We have 3 copies of Giwal Swarmer against the aggro. We have 3 copies of Trump Sword, really strong card to have. 4 copies of Fly Bullet, and 2 copies of Nailbone. That's it. Nailbone is the main reason because this deck is good. Why? Because this adds us some recursion. Especially the recursion of this deck, we are not recovering our security stack. We don't have recovery effects. And as we don't have recovery effects, we need to get blockers and presence in the late game as we can. So Nailbone is a really good card to have in the late game. So we can revive blockers, we can revive Ginkakumon Promote to give a final attack. We can grab whatever we need. And that's why Nailbone becomes so good in this deck. And also being purple and being 7 cost is really good. Finally, we are just playing one tamer, which is Matishida, and we need a tamer that lets our memory to 3 just by playing Craniamon and then Devimon and maybe Billstarmon if we don't have options in the graveyard. That's it. We needed some way to actually play those cards, and Matt completely seals the deal. Also, the on-play effect is really good in this deck. We can just recover 1 Billstarmon or whatever we need from the trash, which adds versatility, and versatility is the key to win most times. So that's it. Greetings to Utsu for building this awesome deck. Greetings to Ivan, which was the player that defeated me in that tournament, and greetings to all my friends that just helped me to build this deck in the tournament, because some of them led me cards, like Jose Ontana, which led me the Millenniumon, and one of the Bilemons that I didn't have. Greetings to my friend Nano, which was unable to assist the tournament because he felt sick one day before. And greetings to all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you like my content, and leave your feedback in the comment section. See you next time. Goodbye.